So Janice, welcome to the show. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Welcome to Chicago.
Well, it's a beautiful city. I love it. It's one of my favorite cities, if not my favorite. It's really cool. It's a great city.
Yeah, it's a great city. It's the winters that make it tough. But when we have a day like today.
Yeah, it's nice. I was looking at it's 90 degrees right now, and it's June, and it's really humid right now. So I can't imagine that the winters are much worse than this is today. So.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, but I did have my 21st birthday in February in Chicago, and it was really cold and miserable. Yeah. So I get it. It's a great city. It's very vibrant, which is pretty cool.
It is. Yeah. It is. It's like I consider it like a small big city.
Yeah.
It's Midwestern feel, but still, very cosmopolitan.
Yeah, I could see that.
New York or LA.
Yeah. I have a question. I'll start with. So you started Pinay Law, right? Did I say that right?
Pinay.
What? Say it again.
Pinay Law.
Okay. Pinay.
Pinay.
Okay,
so it means
Pinay.
Filipino woman.
Okay. This is what I want to get to because you didn't name it after yourself.
Right.
Pinay. Am I saying it? Am I getting it closer?
Got it.
Okay. So I was going to ask you why you called it that. So is that why you called it that?
Partly, but actually, there is a rationale why I did it. So part of what was happening when I was starting my firm was I was called Law Office of Janice Dantes, right? And then when I would look at my finances or the numbers, and I'm like, oh, the numbers aren't good, I judged myself. I would judge myself, and then I would avoid the numbers because I viewed it as a direct reflection of how I was doing. So I tied my value to my company because it was named by me.
This is fascinating.
But really, I shouldn't, right? But when I changed the name, it's like, oh, no, I'm an employee of Pinay Law. And it didn't have my name. And then I was able to examine my numbers and reports and things without the judgment because I didn't see my name staring back at me.
What a smart and fascinating thing you did. That is really interesting. Did you completely change it or did you make like a DBA?
DBA.
Okay. It's still such a smart way of looking at it.
Yeah. So I had to do like little tricks like that or else, you can't avoid things. You can't just, I'm just going to avoid my numbers or not look at these things because I'm tired of, I don't want to judge myself. It's like, well, what can I do to make it not stare me in the face? And I was like, okay, let me just change the name of the firm. It's still me, but not me.
Yeah. Have you always been that self-aware?
I don't think so. Not really. I've done a few like coaching programs and what's good, they all told me that I'm coachable. Yeah. So I didn't know that there are people who weren't coachable, but
there are. There definitely are.
But it's not like I came from a family of lawyers or I never even worked in a law firm aside from my own. Yeah. So in order for me to learn it, I had to, basically, remove the ego, remove the pride, and ask for help when I needed it, and be okay with exposing what I was weak at.
You have a really interesting background. Are you from the Philippines, or are your parents from the Philippines?
I mean, I was born there.
Okay, you're born in the Philippines. So you are from the Philippines.
Yes, I'm from the Philippines. So I was born at Clark Air Force Base since my dad was in the service. Mm-hmm. And then, I was there just for like the first 3 years of my life. So I don't really have a lot of memories. Sure. But the culture is there. My mom still lives with me. She still cooks all the food. And, I speak the language. I didn't for a long time, but actually my job taught me how to speak it to a pretty high level of fluency. Yeah. And then, it's actually Filipino Independence Week.
Oh, and your birthday is your birthday,
and my birthday.
And just okay.
Yeah, it's so Philippine Independence Day is June 12th. So there was an event today, Philippine Independence, and I don't know. I feel like Filipino food is having its like moment in the sun.
What is Filipino food? Because I don't think I've ever had Filipino food.
Well, if you see those purple ube, there's like purple everything. Like,
that's so funny. I was like asking Amy, my wife, earlier today, like, what's ube? And she's like, it's that purple stuff. Like, okay. Ube is the purple fruit.
It's like our version of like a sweet potato. You could eat it like savory or sweet.
Interesting. Okay.
So now it's everywhere. So that's a very Filipino thing. But now it's ubiquitous. It's not weird. When I was growing up, it was weird. Yeah. When I was growing up, like bubble tea, like we call it sago, that was weird. but now it's
everywhere.
everywhere.
You get it in the grocery store now.
Yeah, and then we have the egg rolls, the lumpia. So
I don't know what a lumpia is.
it's like a little mini egg roll.
Okay.
So
like a spring roll?
yeah.
Okay.
A lot like a spring roll, deep fried. And then we have pancit, which is like our version of, it's like the Filipino version of pad thai.
Oh, I love pad thai.
So,
Okay.
yeah,
Then
we
I
have
would
our
love
own
that.
version.
And then I'm assuming rice is a big part of it, right?
Yeah, rice is a big part of it. Yeah, all different ways and all different colors. You could have white rice, fried rice. There's like purple rice.
I mean, I'm sold. I'm hungry now. That sounds delicious. Okay, so you have an interesting niche.
Yes.
Now, it also like your target market's also niche as well. So will you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I'm Filipino, and when I came to the suite that I work at, and these are lawyers who've been practicing 30, 35, 40 years, and they said, "You're the first Filipino lawyer I've ever met." So I was like, oh, that's really surprising. So I think a lot of Filipino lawyers, what happens is the ones who do go to law school, which is rare. A lot of us are nurses or in medical field. The ones that go to law school, they go and work in a corporate environment or a big firm, and not too many are entrepreneurs like me. So I started the firm, and then my niche is really serving our community, but it's really in divorce. And I got all this business advice, right, from non-business people that say, why are you doing divorce? You should just do immigration, which is what there's many Filipino lawyers who do immigration, and actually not many that do divorce. So divorce is illegal in the Philippines.
That was interesting whenever I was looking at the inside brief on you, and I didn't know that. Like, which gives, like, the wives don't have much control. And that's a major problem.
Right. So so when you get married in the Philippines, you're married.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work out, you're still married forever and ever.
Yeah.
It really is till death do you part. And then so concepts like child support don't exist. Custody doesn't exist. Alimony doesn't exist.
What if one of the spouses is abusive? Like, what about something like that? You still can't get out of it?
You can't get out of it. So either someone just leaves and lives somewhere else. And the
wait, so they will just leave and they'll still be married, but they'll just live somewhere else?
Right.
You're kidding me.
So yeah, it creates a lot of strange things. So for example, if you're married and then it doesn't work out and you go and have kids with somebody else, they're still part of the marriage. So there's inheritance rights that are kind of odd.
Oh my gosh.
And then the staunchest defenders of the sanctity of marriage and are against divorce are some of the biggest philanderers.
Oh, hypocrites, huh?
Right.
Like, the shocker.
Yeah, because they know that if it existed, they'd have to pay tons of child support for all the many kids that they have scattered everywhere.
Okay, so this is crazy to me. So let's say that you have a wife and it doesn't work out. You have kids together. You then leave and go have kids with another woman. Like that, the new girlfriend, whatever you want to call her, she can never be married then to you? Like, that's...
Right. She can't. The only loophole is they do sometimes recognize a foreign divorce or a foreigner. So a lot of the Filipinos, when they come here, they find out, I can get divorced. Usually by this time, they're green card holders or American citizens.
Sure.
So they get divorced here, and then they do have all these rights. And then sometimes they'll register it over in the Philippines, and the Philippines would recognize it.
Interesting.
So that's the little loophole.
So is the divorce rate technically like 0% then in the Philippines?
It's like pretty close.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. So I guess how does that play into you wanting to start this firm and what you do? Like that part of it?
Well, what I found is that there was no resources or information. There's not even a word for divorce in the Philippines.
No,
because it doesn't exist. So divorce is divorce. So so a lot of times when people are going through marital problems, the only resource they have is to go to the church. So they pray about it or they talk with their friends, but that's really it. And so I wanted to make sure that people, Filipinos, especially if they came here, that they know that they could exercise this avenue. It has nothing to do with their citizenship, but where they reside now, and they can get divorced even if they were married in the Philippines, and then just their different rights. So some of the the biggest things we do would be, someone is married in the Philippines. They want to build a new life here in America. So they come here and then they meet somebody. Maybe they meet someone new. And then they discover, oh, you mean I don't have to just be boyfriend, girlfriend with this person. I can actually divorce my spouse who is back home and get married and start a new life. So it can be very life-changing for people.
I'm going to ask you a fairly direct question. I don't mean any offense by it. Does the Filipino community somewhat look down on what you do? I'm just curious. Or is it more celebrated because you're helping people that are in trapped marriages? Like what's the view from the Filipino community?
I think it's more of a relief. Like, thank God there's somebody. So I joke a lot. I mean, most Filipinos joke a lot. So I tell people, oh, well, when I'm in church, you tell them I'm a real estate attorney, But it's, I'm a divorce lawyer. And I had thought about it because I had thought about, do I want to put, say, my office in near a community center?
Yeah.
And actually, I chose not to because I'm so synonymous with divorce. Like, if you're seeing me, you're probably getting a divorce.
Good marketing.
Yeah, but I didn't want our community, we have a word, chismis, it's like gossip.
Okay.
So I didn't want it to be that if they were going to my office, which is very visible in, say, our community, they were going to my office, then people would start talking and gossiping and say, like, hey, I saw so-and-so enter that divorce lawyer's office.
That's smart of you, yeah.
So then I didn't want that gossip going on. So I put it downtown in a big building. No one knows where that you're seeing me.
Yeah.
So we kept it like that, and so people would find you. And I didn't put myself in a big community center or in some place where the Filipino community can start to look and gossip.
Yeah. Did you ever try to tinker with other practice areas that targeted the Filipino community?
Yeah, we've tinkered. I mean, I still tell every Filipino, if you ever need anything, just call me because I can place you with somebody.
Absolutely.
So I still, I really just advertise mostly. I'm a lawyer first. So yeah, we get calls for, everything. And when I first started, you do everything. You work with the community. I did. Everything. Food inspection tickets, complaining about some bill from ComEd, tickets, a lot of real estate things. And then you get to know what our community does, what problems they have. And there's always a little bit of uniqueness. So, especially with the real estate, they do a lot of weird things with real estate.
Did you start your firm straight out of law school or did you work somewhere?
Basically. Yeah. I never worked anywhere else. So people ask me, well, how was it like at your old firm? And I was like, I never worked anywhere else.
I'm at the old firm. It's the same one.
Yeah, it's the same one.
So, okay, with that then, did you know from the beginning you wanted it to be divorce, or did you have to kind of find your way to that?
I don't think I don't think anyone aspires to be like, you know what? I want to be a divorce.
That's kind of what I was wondering. Yeah.
No, I don't. It finds you. So when looking back now, it all makes sense. Mm-hmm. Totally makes sense that I should have been a divorce lawyer the whole time. But, when I was going into college and things, I thought I was going to be a doctor because most of the family members I have are in the medical field. In fact, I was the first lawyer in the family. Now there's a few others that have joined, but
you started the way. I
paved the path. So I was the first lawyer in the family, and then I thought I was going to be an entertainment lawyer.
Okay.
I wanted to work with celebrities and do music or copyright, something cool like that.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought I was going to be. I took all these entertainment law classes.
Why did that interest you?
I'll call myself a frustrated musician. So I was a good Asian kid,
Okay.
I'm a classically trained pianist. I sing,
Very
dance,
cool.
Things like that. So I thought, I want to use these other talents. But I still use those other talents. It still opens doors. And I was reading always those like smutty magazines, like tabloids. That was like what I grew up reading. And now it's like I live it.
That you do live it. Yes.
I live it.
Yes.
And people ask, is it how is it like being a divorce lawyer? I was like, I don't have to watch TV.
Yeah.
The drama or the things that we see in real life is better. It's way more than anything you could watch on Netflix. So I'm like, nah, that's a lot like my case.
Do you deal with conflicts much because the community's so small?
Not really. I mean, it does happen occasionally. You'll have like a wife and a husband call and they're conflicted out, but it's still fairly new in the community. So as large as the Filipino community is here in Chicago, it's, it's not common that people get divorced. There's still a stigma with it.
Sure.
People still go to church. That's why a lot of my divorces with people who are really struggling, I mean, they're married like 20 years.
Oh my gosh. That's gotta be tough.
And then it's the amount of, I don't know how to say it, like bullshit that they put up with. Like, wow, it's only now after, you've been cheated on like 10 times and he has kids with 3 different women that you're like, you know what, I'm going to put my foot down.
I was in Lowe's a few weeks ago and there was this clearly older couple, like 80s, like the guy was in a scooter and the wife was walking around and he was like, can you grab this off the shelf to her? And she's like, no, you don't need that, you idiot. And I'm thinking like, oh, like they were talking to each other, like calling each other idiot and dumbass. And I'm like, what? Like, why are you all still married? Like, how do you all
Their terms of endearment.
It was not nice to it. They were not being, there was nothing endearing about it. It was like being mean. I'm like, holy crap. So I'm sure you probably see a lot of that stuff. Like they just, at some point there's a breaking point where they've got to, end it. But that's gotta be sad. When it comes to like the divorces and they've been together for 20 years or so, do they usually try to come to you together or is it one spouse coming to you? Like, is it more like they both decided to part ways or is it just usually one?
No, it's usually one spouse.
Yeah.
And then, so what the crazy thing is that you'll have a, woman who's like, usually it's a woman who comes and says, this is not working. And it'll be just, he goes to the Philippines every 6 months, he sees his mistresses and he's got 3 kids over there and he's spending all this money.
Oh my God.
It's, and sometimes the kids are older. So yeah. And then she's like, yeah, now I have a venereal disease,
oh my God.
I'm done.
Yeah.
They'll say like, I'm done. Right. And then we'll approach the husband who's been clearly cheating for, decades and has kids everywhere. And then he'll be like, oh, I'm so hurt and I'm blindsided. Why all of a sudden does she want to like divorce me?
Because you're a dumbass.
and then they'll like want her back. And sometimes they will reconcile.
That's how often do you get to like just to the finish line and they reconcile?
We had one person who was divorced for like 27 days.
What?
And then they went back together.
Okay, so I think in Missouri, I don't do family law. I think in Missouri, if it's less than 30 days, they can basically cancel out the divorce. Is it like that in Illinois?
Yeah, they like filed a motion to vacate it. And
okay.
It was like granted. And I was like, well, you don't get a refund.
Yeah, no kidding. Yes.
So it's like we talked about it that like, single life for 27 days, that was just like too much,
I once had a client when back in the day when I did criminal defense, I got a case dismissed on a motion to suppress. And the client had the audacity to ask me for the money back after I got the case dismissed. I was like, no, just because this case didn't go to trial doesn't mean you get your money back.
Right.
I got you the result you wanted, okay? The best result you could have. So I completely get that.
Yeah.
How do you market to the Filipino community?
Yeah, it's really like very grassroots. I go to like a lot of picnics and a lot of events.
That's how I pictured it. So that's interesting. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, you go, you invite them to your house, you go to church. So it's very organic. And then what happens is you're a little bit of a celebrity because there's not very many of us lawyers who are in the community and speak the language. So so they like that it's interesting with Filipinos is that they like that I speak the language, but I went to school here. That's a huge thing, that I speak English with no accent.
Interesting.
So they like that I was educated here in the U.S.
Why is that?
I think there's a affinity for the educational system here, and you went here, and then also with law, they a lot of Filipinos, especially if they have an accent, have been discriminated against. So they don't want that same feeling to go with their lawyer. So when they have a lawyer who can speak the language fluently, was educated here, and then can discuss with the judge or the opposing counsel with no accent. But I have a Chicago accent.
Yeah, you do. Yes, you do.
That's the accent I have. They prefer it.
How long did it take you to learn the Filipino language? Because you said you didn't know it at first.
I came here when I was 3.
Yeah.
So, you're barely talking. And then my grandma lived with us and I spoke a little bit, but I never went to school. I never read or studied it. So even now I can't really read it or write it. But just speak it. That's all I can do. It took a good probably 5 years to be very fluent, where I have the idioms and I can understand the jokes. In the very beginning, I spoke, how people have accents when they speak English. So I had that, I had an American, or they almost said British. They thought, did you go to school in Britain, or where did you learn it? So they could tell that my accent was not from the Philippines when I spoke. And then now there's no accent.
They're probably making fun of you from behind the scenes. Totally making fun.
Yes. No, they make fun of you to your face.
Do they really? Do. That's fantastic.
And they'll be like, no, that's not how you say it. No, that's not how you say it. But because they would tell me that, that's how I got better. They're like,
that's good.
Yeah.
I think that's cool because you can kind of they're teaching you as you're you kind of develop the bond with them as you do that. That's really cool. I think that's great.
But they appreciate that I was trying. Yeah. And now it's fine. So now I want to try to learn some of the other dialects.
Do you ever, and I don't know if you go to church or not go to church, but I'm curious if you go to church, if you ever run into spouses that you've divorced for them, where they're both still going to the church or anything like that?
I don't go to that church, but I did have a couple where it was, I think the husband was seeing one of the other parishioners.
Oh, Jesus.
And then she still went to that church, and I was like, can you just maybe go to a
please
different
stop
church?
Going, yes.
You're torturing yourself.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, church, it's like with different communities, Greeks and Filipinos, it's your church matters, and it's hard to kind of change that.
I'm assuming you don't just represent Filipinos, right?
No.
Okay.
We represent everyone.
Because I feel is the community, how many, what's the population of Filipinos in Chicago, roughly?
I think there's several 100,000, and it's
that's way larger than I would have expected.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's the second largest Asian group next to Chinese, something like that.
Yeah.
So, but there's a lot, and you could tell because we have several Jollibees. So Jollibee is our McDonald's.
Jollibees, interesting. They sell burgers?
They sell burgers, but it's really about the fried chicken.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jollibees. Okay. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
So we have several here now in Chicago. And then we also have our grocery store. It's called Seafood City. It's our H Mart.
Okay. So there's a Chinatown in some cities. Is there a Filipino town?
Not here.
No.
Not here. We're kind of spread out. But we do have our grocery store, which people go from out of state to grocery shop.
You're kidding.
Because they don't have one in, say, Indiana or Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So,
are there other attorneys that are in other niches that you sort of have to compete with when it comes to you having a lock on the community?
Nobody really wants to do divorce in our community. So I think I've met a few, and there's enough work to go around. So I have a few attorneys where I see them on the other side fairly frequently, Filipino. And then most of them, they don't really want to do it. They do it because they can, and it's, it's lucrative, but they really want to do something more transactional.
Yeah.
So, but there's a community of lawyers that service other Filipinos, but most of them are in the corporate or the large firm world. So we do have a Filipino Lawyers Association here.
Oh, how big's that?
We have about 150 paid members. But there's we just had an event at Sunda, It's a pretty hot restaurant here, and they have different locations, different cities. And the owner's a lawyer, and he's Filipino, and we just gave him an award.
Oh, that's cool.
And he
Very
has
nice.
a movie. So his name is Billy Deck. So I'll plug him a little bit.
Okay, very cool.
And he talked about his experience going to law school with one of our other members and how he really needed him to help him with his homework. And then,
Oh, Billy.
yeah.
Oh,
And then now he has this documentary called Food Roots where he kind of explores his Filipino food heritage.
Yeah.
And then how it influenced his restaurants.
That's really cool.
So, yeah.
Is it DECK, Billy Deck?
DEC.
DEC. I was saying, that does not sound like a Filipino name, but DEC now makes more
Yeah.
sense. Okay.
And I don't know if that's his like stage name.
I was going to ask you if that was a stage name. That's what I was asking.
Yeah,
Okay.
but he was like a quasi celebrity. He was on like Friends and things like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, like a guest star on like.
How does I watched some of your YouTube videos. Like, how does your YouTube channel kind of fit into your marketing mix?
It doesn't. I actually don't do a lot of social media, and I'm only starting to trying to put myself out there more because, well, my firm employees are telling me like,
Yeah.
Janice, get yourself out there, and I have like fear. I have fear of being judged, and what if
You're
I say the
crazy
wrong
because you have
thing?
such a good stage presence. I can tell you, like you would do so well, and like with the niche you have too, you would do so great. You got to
I feel like
throw
I'm
all
like
that
a
fear out the
robot.
window.
I'm like, I don't know. I've tried, and then I'm like, God, I'm so robotic and not natural. So, but I have a new hire. Her name is Andrea, and she's like, Janice, we're gonna get you out there. So
She should. I mean, like whatever you were visualizing is not reality. Like you like, I will tell you, you would do amazing. You would do really well. You got to crank that thing up.
okay, so we're starting to do some making some plans on some social media and getting my face and my message out there. So,
Yeah. I wonder if part of it's because you were so used to like that in-person type of marketing that I guess you don't really need to do the social media, but I feel like you would do so well with it. But I wonder, is that part of it because you were so used to the in-person part of things?
I think part of it, and I love my grandfather, so there was one time, and he told me, and I was not in law school, or maybe I was in law school at this time. So I did a run with my dad. It was the police memorial run.
Okay.
Right? And then they have like little places where you could take photos. And then so I had these huge like semi-automatic weapons that I like had a photo with, And so I took a photo and I put it on my Facebook, right? And then my grandfather was like, I think when you become a lawyer, you can't really like do that. You have to like be careful with what you say. And then I was like, oh, maybe you're right. Maybe I need to do that. So then I kind of like came into my shell.
Yeah.
And then, because before, when you're young, you're just kind of like, oh, this is fun.
Completely, yeah.
But now I'm trying to get that out, get me out of that. And, really people want you to be authentic and yourself and know that you're actually a human too. And you're not just this like big bad lawyer up in this ivory tower.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of like picture. Like, it's interesting, like you, because you want to do like entertainment law and everything, and you've got the musical background. Like, I could picture you doing so many fun videos with like you at the piano, or you dancing, or you singing.
Yeah,
like,
so that's where I started. So
Yeah.
one of my business coaches was like, "Why don't you put something out there that you feel confident doing, and you enjoy, right?" And I was like, "Okay, well, I'll play piano.
Yeah.
So I'll do that. I have a nice piano at home." So I started doing that. And then now I cannot go to any event without having a piece ready in case there's a piano.
I love this.
So
See,
then-
people view you as the piano lawyer.
Yeah, so then it's always like everywhere I go, if there's a piano, they're like, "Hey, Janice plays the piano. Go play something." So I always have to have something prepared or because I'm going to be asked.
I love this. Like, you could, hopefully you get, before this airs, we got a few weeks. You got to see if the piano lawyer is available. Have you seen the lock picking lawyer?
No.
Have you seen this guy?
No, I haven't seen it.
Somehow he got into my algorithm a while ago, and I've seen him a few times where he just, people mail him locks, and he
He picks them?
he picks them, and they're like, like they really try to challenge him, and he's really good. He's amazing at picking locks. He like picks everything. It's really interesting how like he walks through it.
Like what he's known for.
Yeah, he's the lock picking lawyer. It'd be really. I mean, especially with the piano thing too. Oh my, Janice is here. Well, we gotta get the piano. Gotta get on it.
Yeah, there was a time where I was like, the business was not doing so well, and I was like, well, I need to find other streams of revenue. And I was like, what do celebrities do when they like need money? And I'm like, they come out with a Christmas album. And I was like literally thinking of like, let me come out with a Christmas album of all like, I don't know, breakup songs or something. And then, say, hey, breakup songs.
This is brilliant. You could do this year round. During Christmas, you could release Janice's, you could do Pinay Law, now I'm so thrown. I can't say Pinay. That's Pinay?
Mm-hmm.
Pinay Law.
Yeah.
Your Christmas album, right? Mm-hmm. You release that in Christmas. You could do like the Valentine's Day one, like for breakup, sad songs and all that kind of stuff, or love songs. You get Halloween songs. You could do all of it. You could put it out for people. You just release your Spotify album. That's all you gotta do. It'd be freaking amazing.
Yeah. So I mean, if you see some of my TikToks, so like I've been playing with like BandLab. So I'll make.
What's BandLab? I don't know what that is.
You could record your music, put drums, and put those things. So I'll record something on the piano and then I'll sing over it. So I was like, oh, I don't need to get rights now.
Yes.
Because I'm like, that's my music that's out there on some of my videos. I'll put them on.
You are so much cooler than whenever you first walked in here. Like it's so cool that you do this. That's amazing. That's really cool.
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, it's funny because it's like, oh, the IP side, you're like,
yeah,
this is my arrangement.
That's mine now.
That's my voice.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what is your like long-term goal? So I mean, you're super young. So I mean,
well, thanks. It's my birthday. I'm like, oh, I'm 43. Is that super young?
I'm 43. You're super young.
Oh, okay.
So you're super young.
Our peers.
You look way younger.
Thanks.
So like, what do you want to do with with the firm? Like, are you wanting to grow this thing into something really big, or you wanted to scale it like nationally, or you want to just keep it small? What do you want to do?
So that's why I put like Pinay Law Chicago.
Yeah.
So that I could have like Pinay Law London, Pinay Law Miami, Pinay Law LA. So I do want to expand. Like I would love to have it global, like a global brand. And then, I want to do all the fun stuff. Like you do this podcast,
yeah.
Post. I'd love to write books, and I'd love to like share my experiences, and I really love to travel. So that's one thing I want to do a lot. My mom travels all the time. So she just came from Switzerland.
Oh, that's cool.
And she's going to Morocco, and she's really trying to see the world. So, and that's why I'm a lawyer. Not only do I enjoy it, but it provides me, the means and the freedom to really live out all these other dreams. So,
do you have hobbies that you do now?
Yeah. So I do, I dabble in music. So I call myself like a frustrated musician.
Yeah.
And then, I do a lot of like fitness stuff. So my husband and I got into this whole fitness thing. So I'm like 40 pounds lighter than
Since
I was like last October.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
What's the key?
And people are asking like, did you do GLP-1s? No.
Does that piss you off? That's got to make you mad.
No, it makes me, I'm like, oh, you think I cheated. Okay.
Yeah.
No,
piss
it's
you
all
off. Okay.
natural. So
no offense to anybody that does it. I'm just saying, like, if you did it naturally, that's got to make you mad. So
yeah. So no, I did it all, diet and exercise, and it's mostly diet.
Yeah.
It's mostly diet, and people need to teach you how to eat well, and it's not fun. It's not fun. So it's very kind of boring, but it actually made me a better lawyer. Just working on my fitness, and so I don't have the brain fog anymore.
Yeah.
I have a lot more energy. And then also I don't have to think about what I'm going to eat for lunch because I have already pre-packed it. You could pick from like 10 things. So that's all you do. So you're not wasting your time doing that. And then my husband got into it, and we have a trainer that we work with. And it's been fun. And and now I'm like, okay, what other fitness things? So
right.
I'm trying to like challenge myself with that. So we talk about doing like a channel called Lawyer with Abs, and we're going to collect
I love it.
all the lawyer with abs and get tips and tricks on like, what do you do when you're hungry? What are some good snacks? Things like that. So
that I like that. I actually may like that more than I like the piano lawyer. They're both awesome. That'd be really cool. Like,
Yeah.
so I got being into fitness probably 5 or 6 years ago, and we hired a trainer. That was a really big deal. Like hiring the trainers is a huge thing. Eating healthy, changed my diet completely.
Lifestyle.
Yes.
The lifestyle change.
Like drinking more water, stop drinking alcohol, all these different things. It is a big.
If you have tequila.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I'll drink every once in a while.
Yeah.
So is tequila safe? Is that?
Yeah, it doesn't have the same calories that like a beer does.
Yeah, I like bourbon. A lot.
Okay. That's like a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Way more calories in wine and bourbon than people might think.
I know.
It's really calorie.
So then you could be lawyers with abs.
No,
Share your
I've got
fitness.
something I'm doing. I'm already doing maximum lawyer. I'm good. I'm done. I'm tapped out on time. That's no more. But I love that idea. It's great. What was there like something in your life where like I got to change? Like what made you want to do it?
I mean, to be honest, it was that we had a lot of friends that were passing away, like dying, like our age. We're talking like in our 40s.
You're kidding me.
So after, and I guess, as you get older, you meet more people, so you're more aware of it. And so we had a lot of people that we knew, my husband and I, that were passing away, and they were, sick. Mm-hmm. So I can't control that. I don't know if I'm going to, if I'm going to get sick or not, but I'm like, but I can control what goes in my body and working out and doing the things that the doctor always tells you to do. So why don't I do that? And then, as lawyers, and we have the means to. So what am I hoarding this money for?
Sure.
And so, my husband and I made the investment first. I was like, I'm tired of being chubby. So I did it. And it was for the first 2 weeks. I don't know if this happened to you when you did the lifestyle change. The first 2 weeks, I cut out the sugar and I was eating healthy, and I felt like an addict. Yes. I was literally dreaming of like chips, cupcakes, and I was like, what is wrong with me? And I had headaches. It was unbelievable. Yep. I felt terrible. And then,
you kind of were an addict. I mean, that's reality. You kind of were an addict. Yeah.
Yeah. And then after that subsided, then I was like, wow, I'm not tired. I'm not groggy. And then I had that mental clarity. And it was helping actually a lot on the business. Mm-hmm. Now I had energy, and I'm like, hey, let's fix this. Let's do this. And so actually investing in that health helped me a lot on the business side. So I tell people, I'm like, you're going to make money doing that too.
Yeah, you really learn things about like your body. Like there's like little things. Like I still drink caffeine. Like I usually will drink like Bomb energy drink or something, which is like 0 calories. But it's, for example, like, I think it's adenosine or whatever. What kind of puts you to sleep is adenosine, and then I may be saying that wrong. It may be adenosine or adenosine, either one. But it like kind of puts you to sleep. And whenever you wake up, like you have to kind of like get that out of your body. And caffeine's an adenosine blocker. And then that's why you're supposed to drink it like 90 minutes or more after you wake up, because that's why you get the crash in the afternoon. Right? Because let's say you drink it 30 minutes after you wake up, you've now blocked that adenosine. The caffeine wears off in the afternoon. It floods your body with adenosine, and now you've crashed. That's why. So that's like whenever you start to like go through this health journey, you start to learn all these other little things about your body. They're like, oh, you can almost like game the system. That's why I think it's. Yeah, that's why I wear a Whoop now. It's like part of it's because Jeremy Danielson recommended it to me. But like, you can gamify things, which is really cool.
Yeah, no, it is cool, and then it kind of tests your discipline, your like mental fortitude. So, and one of the things, and I use ChatGPT, so I asked it.
Who does it?
I asked it, I was like, how can I, lose weight? And then it said, apply the same discipline in your business to your fitness.
Oh, that's interesting. Like, that had hit you in the gut.
I'm like, oh, so I'm succeeding in this area, but not here. What is wrong with me? So I was like, okay, let's do that. Let me get a coach. Let me do this. And it is the same discipline.
So there's something interesting you said about that. It's the discipline part of it. I can't remember where I heard this. It was last week about, it was a study about discipline. Mm-hmm. And when people view you and how you look, they make judgments about everything else when it comes to your life, whether fair or not fair, right? So if they see that you look healthy and you look like you're in good shape, they assume that you are disciplined in all areas of your life. Mm-hmm. And so it does affect business in certain ways that people don't realize. And that's that's a big part of why I do it is we need to look healthy, like, because people do make these assumptions, whether they're fair or they're not. And so, and I also want to live longer, and I want to be able to be healthy and spend time with my kids. That's the main reason. But there's business reasons why you want to do these things. It's not for vanity.
Not just vanity.
Yeah, it's big parts health, but it's also like, it does have an impact on the business.
Yeah, and I do want to make sure I can like walk places and do those like activities of daily living. So we do like probate cases, and then you'll have like a doctor talk with somebody, and then they'll tell you like the activities of daily living that a person can't do. Like they can't dress themselves, they can't feed themselves, they can't use the bathroom themselves. And I'm like, I want to try to do that as long as possible. And sometimes, so one of my grandfather passed away a few years ago, and my husband thought it was the most epic way that someone can pass away, even though my mom was horrified and it was so embarrassing. But like he's in his 80s, and he like was in a hotel room with like another woman like half his age, and he took a concoction of like alcohol and like Viagra, and then had a heart attack.
Blew up his heart. Oh my gosh.
And then my mom, like the family is a little horrified because it's a small town in the Philippines. So, the police were there. So it came out like what happened. So it wasn't anything sinister, just, just a cocktail that, he had a heart attack. And so my family's horrified. My husband was like, there is nothing wrong with that. And how do we do the same thing? And like, I think every man, they're just like, that doesn't seem like a bad way to go. But he biked there. He biked.
Was he still married to your mom?
No, my grandma had passed away. And that's another thing.
Oh, okay. So it's not your mom. I'm sorry, your grandma.
Yeah. And they were one of those like, divorce was not an avenue kind of thing, and they lived kind of separate lives. But yeah. That's how he went.
Did I hold no judgment? I was just saying, other than that part of it, okay, I don't hold judgment anyways. It's whatever.
No.
Teach their own.
No.
I'm sure. I'd probably high five him if he were here. Just.
That's what my husband's saying. He's like, like my husband. He's like, I want to make sure that if I'm in my casket, like, and I have my abs, and there's no shirt.
Yes. There was a guy, an 80-year-old that just broke a record or something. I think he's 80. It was 80 or 90. I think it was 80, like 80 or 81, 82. He just like broke like a record for the mile or something last week. That like it was like for like an 80-year-old, like his age group. But like, could you imagine running like a mile? It was like, let's say it was like 10 minutes. I don't know what the time was.
I don't even think I could run a mile.
I mean, could you imagine like as an 80-year-old like run? And he was cooking, man. Like he was really going fast. I'm like, holy crap! And I hope when I'm 80, I'm running like that.
Exactly.
That's
like
the
same.
It's really cool. Or do you have any kids or anything?
I do. I have 3 kids.
So part of it, like, do you also view it like as like you're setting sort of a standard for them, like you're as an example, like here's how you should live your life, kind of a thing? Do you ever view it like that?
I do. We're lawyers, and like I could be a little judgy, but I'll meet people. I'm like, they're living life wrong.
Yeah.
Like that's not the right way to live. And I view it as like, if they can't make a movie of your life, you didn't do enough.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. So
where's that come from? Where do you get that from?
I don't know. I mean, I love watching, those true crime and a lot of documentaries or movies about people.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're like, God, what a remarkable story. And if you live a life where there's no story about you, I'm like, what were you doing?
So if your story ended tomorrow, like, what do you think would have been like the climax of the story?
I don't know if there's a climax, but I do tell people that if I had a movie made of my life, I want it to be a remake of My Cousin Vinny.
Okay.
But like with, he was Italian, but it was like with Filipinos. Because I remember my first trial. My mom came.
Yes.
Stuff like that.
Is your husband Marissa Tomei? Is that how it?
He could be Marissa Tomei. He's kind of. What's kind of funny about my husband is, we kind of have a little bit of a non-traditional marriage. Like there's a breadwinning spouse, is me, and his brother, he bought him a shirt that said "Trophy Husband."
Love it.
And I joke, and I was like, you know what? They have like Real Housewives of like Beverly Hills, Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm like, they need like another show called Real House Husbands. Of Name That City, and talk about like the husbands who are married to like.
It's time to start it with Chicago. That's what you need to do. Real House Husbands of Chicago.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the opposite of Ballers or something.
Yeah.
But there are a lot.
I don't think your husband would like the reference of it being the opposite of Ballers. I don't know. I don't know if I would like
He
that.
lives a good life.
It sounds like it. It sounds like it. What's his name?
His name is Ian.
Ian, crush it, man. Go knock out. Be the house husband. That's.
But he has. But to be fair, he's a lawyer too.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of a funny thing. So he has his own firm now, and part of it was that I didn't want to do any more estate planning. It's hard to balance with the litigation, but we do probate work, and I was like, Ian, well, I can find somebody else to refer these cases out, or do you want to try them? I'm like, there's no timeline. You could just do it part-time and see if you like it.
Yeah.
Now he's like loving it. So.
Okay. And it's a completely separate firm?
Totally separate.
How hard is it to like do you have to fight yourself like meddling with his business?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does it ever cause any friction? Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of sometimes. Sometimes I hurt his ego a little bit, but he's like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. You gotta let him find his way. Guide him, but let him find his way.
Yeah. And it's funny because we have office space in the same suite.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of our suite mates was like, Ian, why do you have this smaller office? And then he's like, because my wife took the bigger ones. And then
because his wife's crushing it. There's nothing wrong with that.
And our friend was like, women.
Yeah. What did he name his firm?
It's Sharping Law.
Okay. Got it. Interesting. I thought it'd be.
But it looks like what's cool about his logo is it's IS. His name is Ian Sharping. So when you put an I and an S, it looks like a dollar sign.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
Yeah.
That's very cool. All right. So, and Pinay stands for what again?
Filipino woman. So there's two words. Like Pinoy is like just Filipino or Filipino man, and then Pinay is.
I think it'd be funny if he did Pinay Law, and you did Pinay Law.
It'd be funny. It would be funny.
That'd be really. It'd be very confusing, I think, for people because it's so similar.
It could be. I tried to get Pinoy Law, but that was already taken.
Oh, really?
That's why I changed it to Pinay. Yeah.
Is it someone's name?
I think Pinoy is such a common word. So if you ever say like, oh, if I say I'm Pinoy or he's Pinoy, it's so like synonymous. Like they know you're Filipino. And it's on everything, So it's just a very common slang term. So I'm not surprised that it was taken, but I was surprised that the female version wasn't. So.
Yeah. All right, we've been doing a lot of chit chatting about a lot of things. What's something I should have asked you up to this point that I haven't?
Is it related to like
anything?
Anything?
Yeah.
I mean, you did a good job. Like. I don't know if there's anything that
I just enjoy. I like having good conversations. So I have my outline of questions. I usually I kind of go through, but I usually just kind of go where the conversation takes us. But
I mean, the one thing that is kind of my new obsession, because that's how lawyers are, is I'm kind of obsessed with like money, like not in a like hoarding way, but just learning about how money works, how you can use like credit and debt. So that is a world. That I watch tons of podcasts on business and money, and it's something that I didn't grow up talking about in the way that business owners look at money.
Sure.
And so I didn't have any like ways to learn it. So I did a lot of like reflection on my money psychology. Do I have a scarcity mindset or abundance mindset? So that's been kind of my new thing. So
the key, is one of the big keys, not seeing what's happening. So do you ever heard about paying one extra mortgage per year, payment? There's things like that, or spending paying even extra $100 per mortgage payment, things like that that are that compound over time, or just having things automatically deducted. Have you started doing any of those things?
Yes. So I follow different people who talk about money, like Ramit Sethi and some of these other folks. But it's that I think when you're an immigrant, right, and your parents didn't come from much, and then you're in a profession one generation, you're now top 1%, and then it's like, okay, well, what do I do to make sure, I'm not wasting it or spending it? And I've done, I have done crazy things with money. Like the first time I came into like actual legit real money, I like MC hammered that.
What'd you do with it? I'm very curious.
There was one year we had like a really awesome year. And it was like my first like awesome year where I was like, wow, I'm making like lawyer money.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like $90,000 on travel with my family. And I was like, no, we're going to stay in this like nice hotel. We're going to live the life. Right. And the thing is, not only did I spend all of it, then I got into credit card debt, and it was like $50,000 in credit card debt. And I was like, holy.
It happens fast.
Yeah. And then I was like, okay, hold on. I got to like recalibrate. And then, so, I was able to get out of it, but then I was starting to think like, hey, okay, I can't do that again. Mm-hmm. And how can I still live my life, but not have this like, binge and like this kind of mindset? Because I was like, oh my God, I'm like every professional athlete.
Right.
And they don't teach you that. So
I had a similar background. Obviously didn't immigrate to the United States, but like my parents didn't graduate from high school. And so like money was always like a big deal, meaning we didn't have it, Right. So like actually coming into money, it was like, oh, this is a different thing. Like, in like the way you think about money, and it's a very limiting thing sometimes where like I remember thinking about like when I worked for State Farm before I was a lawyer as a claims adjuster. I remember thinking like making $35,000 a year was like just amazing. Like, it was just an incredible amount of money. And it's just, so like in that way it's like kind of limiting too. So did you ever experience anything like that where like maybe you didn't charge enough for fees because
totally,
you like things like that?
Yeah, I think my first divorce I ever did, I charged like $500.
Yeah, oh my God.
I was like, because I didn't know what else, because I was like,
you regretted that a week later, I bet.
Yeah, I did, and I was like, oh my God, 500, it's like so much money, because like my first job out of college, I was making like $7.25 an hour, right?
Yes.
So then I was like, oh, this is like a lot, And then, then you slowly learn. You're like, oh, actually, I see why lawyers are charging this and what you do. So then you learn that. And then, my mom still thinks to this day, she thinks I'm broke. She really does. She's like, there's no way that you can be spending all that money on your trainer and all this stuff and all the office space and your 2 properties. You must be like broke. Like she thinks that. And she's always like, do you need any money? Can I help you? I was like, don't worry about it.
That's so funny. My dad used to do that until a few years ago. He'd be like, I'm like, Dad, I'm doing okay. Like, what are you talking about? I think it's coming from that background where like they don't have money. I think that they've worked really hard to get, like, my dad was a business owner. He's a mechanic, and he started his own business and did really well. And he didn't do that until I was an adult. So like I never got to see any of the fruits of that until like later on.
Right.
But so I'm super proud of what everything they've done. But it's like your mom's, she's done the same thing where like I think they have that sort of like that scarcity mindset where like they want to make sure you're doing well and I'm doing well. And so
when I left my job to start a practice. So my mom says, this is what she says. She's like, see, I'm glad that you started your practice. I'm glad I encouraged you. That's what she says.
That's not what happened. No,
I remember she's like, why would you quit your job where you have a 401k and all these benefits, right? So she thought that, like, why would you leave that job? And then now I'm like, well, we offer benefits. In fact, she, after she got divorced from my dad, she didn't have benefits, and she was only like 62. And I was like, well, I'll just make you an employee, and you'll get paid, and then you'll have benefits until your Medicare age. And so she did, and she was like, oh, how are you paying for this? And I was like, don't worry about it. And good thing she did, because she like hurt herself. She tore her Achilles.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And that kind of surgery would have cost a lot, but she had health insurance. So.
How'd she do it? I'm so curious.
She was climbed on something.
It's always like weird things. It's like not even like, it's usually people walking or something whenever they tear an Achilles. It's such a terrible injury too.
Yeah, she's it wasn't like she was playing basketball or anything, but she's climbing on something, then she fell, and then she thought she sprained an ankle, but then it never got better, and then she found out it was tore her Achilles.
Do you ever step back and think about like how far you've come and like just like kind of pat yourself on the back?
Not really. I think part of it is cultural. So I'm like, I tell my husband this all the time. I was like, I don't celebrate mediocrity, so.
It's a very harsh way of looking at things.
Yeah. So, but he tells me he's like, you should, be proud of yourself. You did all this. And so we celebrate wins. Like he helps me celebrate. But sometimes I don't look back and see how far I've come. I'm always looking forward and the mountain's still high.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. And you're probably on a peak of one mountain and you just want to get to the peak of another mountain. So you've probably climbed up and down a bunch of other mountains.
Right.
If you think back to like when you started and the different peaks that you've climbed on, like which peak do you think you're the most proud of?
I think the one that I'm most proud of, honestly, was, and it was kind of like a low point in my business, was that I got scammed out of $50,000.
Oh my gosh.
And and it was, and I read about the scam and I've been talking about it so it was like a bad check from, these scammers who pretended they were getting divorced and they like passed this bad check on and you had to disperse it, the settlement. And it was like, it was pandemic Zoom, you just didn't meet with everybody like you do now. And so, and I felt like dumb. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe that I would be scammed out of, I'm a lawyer, So I always tell people, I'm like, it could happen to anybody. All this social engineering is like, they're sophisticated.
Very much.
And then, so that was happening. And then like, I went with this marketing company that was like not doing anything with my business. So like things were just like, everything was falling apart. And, I was out of cash and I had to max out like my line of credit and everything to try to keep things afloat. And then we were taking some risk, like, hey, let's do this. Let's try this to bring in business. Didn't work. And I was like, 5,000, it's just coming out. Right.
Yeah.
And then I told my finance guy, it was like, and I kept everyone on and we're like, no, we're going to work through this. And, I was like, I think we need to hire somebody. He's like, we don't have any money. We maxed out. I was like, we need somebody to help bring in the cases. And so he's like, okay. So we did. We found somebody after 2 rounds, and then that was helping. And then we were making different tweaks. And then I was just like pounding the pavement. I was everywhere, every day, every night. And then, we were able to come up. And now, we just added 2 more people. And that was that was less than 2 years ago.
Nice.
So I was really proud that, the one thing that my son told me. So, cause he asked me about that and I was like, it kind of sucked that everything that was bad happened all at the same time. And it was like really hard. And he's like, but Mom, isn't that better? Isn't it better that all the problems happen at the same time? And I was like, why was that better? He's like, because then you just fix it once and then move on.
The wise kid.
He's like, if they were all spread out over time, then you have to go and fix this and then fix this and fix this. He's like, you got to fix all at the same time. And I was like, wow, that's a good way to think about it.
Very smart kid. You're raising a good kid. That's great.
So he told me that. And I was like, that's so smart, Kai. So. All
right. So the last question I want to ask you is, and this comes from something that one of our employees did in our huddles. We every once in a while we'll have an employee run our huddles in the morning. Mm-hmm. And one of our employees, Isabella, she said, okay, I want everyone to just kind of turn your camera off and think about some bit of advice you want to give to yourself and something you can look back on a week, 2 weeks, 3 months, whatever, and just write it down and keep it on your desk. Okay. Mm-hmm. So when you think about that peak that you want to get to, the high peak, it's not perfection because it's never perfection. Yeah. Perfection's asking for too much, but where that goal that you want to achieve, what advice would you give yourself so that you can hit that goal?
That's deep. For me, it's never to be afraid to give. Just give what you can. Never be afraid to give or help someone else, because it always comes back. And my mom used to tell me, she's like, no, it always comes back when you give. And I don't know why that does happen, because I've met some cheap people and people who are not generous at all, and they never like get that far. But the people who are the most generous, they're always giving,
always,
and then it just pays back tenfold. So I want to always remember that I'm not here to just collect for myself, but it's really to contribute to this world and to give. And so I always want to make sure that I am leaving this world a better place than before I came in.
It's good advice. Happy birthday again.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed it. And next time we'll get into why they call you Apple. So I want to I saw the notes that people call you Apple, but thank you for doing this. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you. Appreciate it.